Day 714 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again another day, another LeetCode problem where we're doing daily LeetCode problems. And today we have question number 3,761, minimum absolute distance between mirrored pairs. The difficulty level is medium, but don't worry because you already know we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as possible. But before we get started, y'all, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go and check out that link in the description so you can get you some. Now let's see what the question says. You are given an integer array nums. A mirrored pair is a pair of indices I and j such that 0 is less than or equal to I, and I is less than j, and j is less than nums.length. And reverse of nums of I is equal to nums of j, where reverse of x denotes the integer formed by reversing the digits of x. Leading zeros are omitted after reversing. For example, reverse of 120 would equal 21. Return the minimum absolute distance between the indices of any mirrored pair. The absolute distance between indices I and j is the absolute difference of I minus j. If no mirrored pair exists, return -1. All right, y'all, so that may seem a little bit confusing at first. So let's go ahead and take a look at these examples just to make sure that we are doing this problem correctly. So in example 1, we have our input nums equals an array of integers 12, 21, 45, 33, 54. The output is 1. Explanation says the mirror pairs are 0 and 1, or 0 and 1, which means index 0 and index 1, which means this 12 and this 21. It says since reverse nums of 0 is equal to reverse of 12, and when we reverse 12, it goes from 12 to 21, and 21 is equal to nums of 1, right? This is 21 right here. We reverse this 12. This is 21 right here. Then given the absolute difference of 0 minus 1 is equal to 1. So remember, the absolute difference is just the amount, or is just the distance from 0. So if we do 0 minus 1, that's going to equal -1, but the absolute value of -1 is 1, because -1 is still just one unit away from 0. But that's not the only reverse pair, right? This reverse pair just has absolute distance of 1 after we have computed it. Now we also have a reverse pair right here, 2 and 4. So that's this index 2 and this index 4. So once again, when we reverse 45, boom, that equals 54 after the reversal, right? So it says since reverse nums of 2 is equal to reverse of 45, which equals 54, that equals nums 4, given the absolute value of 2 minus 4 equals 2. So in this case, we have another reverse pair right here, boom. But this has a distance of 2 after we find the absolute value of the distance. So index 2 minus index 4 is going to give us -2. And once again, -2, the absolute value of that is 2, right? Boom. So since we want to return the minimum absolute distance and 1 is smaller than 2, we're going to return the minimum absolute distance among all pairs is 1. Boom, and that's how we got 1. Now, just in case that didn't make sense, let's take a look at example 2. Boom. So in example 2, we have our input nums equals an array of integers 120 and 21. This time the output is still 1. It says there is only one mirrored pair, 0 and 1. Since we reverse nums of 0, which equals the reverse of 120, which equals 21, nums of 1, then the minimum absolute distance is 1. So in this case, we only have 2 numbers, right? But for this one, we need to remember this rule right here. It says leading zeros are omitted after reversing. So for example, 120 reverse is 21. So say we have 120, then we reverse it, we have 0, 21. We can ignore the 0 because that's just 21. Even if the 0 is here, it's still equal to 21. So that's why we can ignore the leading zeros. Then after we do that, it's equal to nums of 1, which makes it a good pair for us, right? A mirror pair. So they have a distance of 1, so the output is 1. Now let's take a look at example 2 where there are not any mirror pairs. So it says in example 2 we have the input nums equals an array of integers 21 and 120. This time the output is -1. It says there are no mirror pairs. So remember, we have requirements, right? The mirror pair 0 has to be less than equal to I, and I has to be less than or equal to j. So in this case, we would mirror this one, but after we mirror this one, it's going to be 12. Oh, sorry. Let me back up. Oh, yeah. We mirror this one, it'd be equal to 12. But 12 is not equal to 120, right? We can't get rid of this 0 right here. We have to get rid of leading 0. So since we reverse this, it would be 12 and not 120. So that's why it's no mirror pairs. Boom, y'all. So I hope that makes sense to y'all. And now that we understand the question, let's get into the fun part, the actual solution. Solution is not that difficult at all, y'all. So now the first thing we want to do is we are going to initialize the result with a very large value that's going to act like infinity, and this will store the minimum distance found. So we need a place to store our output. We'll store it in a variable called result. So we'll say var result equals int.max. Boom. Then we're going to use a dictionary to store values we've seen before. The key is going to be a number or its reverse form, and then the value is going to be the index where it was last seen. So we'll declare a variable called map, open up the square brackets, it's going to be, key is going to be an integer, value is going to be an integer, and we'll initialize it with a blank array like so. Boom. Then we're going to iterate through the array by saying for j and 0 less than nums. Nums dot count. We're going to open up the brackets and we're going to reverse the digits of the current number. So we're going to say let reverse equal, open up the parentheses, int, open up some more parentheses, string, open up some more parentheses, string, open up some more parentheses. We're going to say num square bracket j. Then we're going to come outside the square bracket, and the first set of parentheses we're going to say dot reversed. Reversed. Then we're going to put some more parentheses, open and close, and then we need to put exclamation point. Boom. Hold on. Well, first, we don't need this parenthesis, so we could get rid of this one and this one. Sorry, I was moving too fast. Then we put the exclamation point. Boom. Then we're going to come underneath this and we're going to check if the current number has been seen before. So we'll come underneath this and we will say if let I equals map square bracket nums square bracket j. We're going to come outside of that. We're going to open up the brackets and we're going to update the minimum distance between indices by saying result equals min, open up the parentheses, result, comma, j minus I. Boom. Then we're going to store the reverse version of the current number, and this allows future numbers to match against it. So we come underneath this, we say map, square bracket reverse, come outside of that, set that equal to j. Then if no valid pair was found, we're going to return -1. Otherwise, we're going to return the minimum distance found by coming right here, and we're going to say return result equals int.max. So this equals is going to return a Boolean. So if result still equals int.max, that means we could not find a mirror pair. So we're going to say question mark -1. Now, that's if this returns true. If this returns false, we'll come right here, we'll say colon, so that if it returns false, we can return the result, y'all. Boom. So that should be all she wrote. Let's give it a run. Make sure it runs properly. Okay, let's see. Oh, this should be nums with an S. Sorry about that, y'all. Now let's try that again. It's accepted, so let's go ahead and submit it. Make sure it's still accepted after we submit it. And look at that, y'all. 425 milliseconds beats 100% of users. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to see, y'all. So, with that being said, make sure you get one more look at the code. And yeah, y'all, I hope y'all learned something today, and I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See y'all then.